Hey, it's 8 o'clock. It's that time on the dot on Tuesday with your girl. Wicka, wicka. No, all right. I'm sorry. It's been a silly day. Silly, silly day. But because it seems like around this time of year, a lot of teachers are starting to skip a little bit more because it's almost the end of the school year. I actually see a lot of people with their paper rings. Remember those? Everybody's putting their paper rings up there and they're cutting off as the day closer. Or this morning, I saw a couple of my teacher friends put out some posts, and most of the posts were like, "We only got 4 more Mondays, guys. We can do this." And everyone's like, "Yes." And they're all skipping around for a nice, happy Monday. Why are we rushing our life? Like, seriously. And the real part that I know about this, I used to be that person. Except for the paper thing, because when I was doing the paper thing, no, that's money. Um, how are you guys doing? So, I am ready to share with you not just like how to get your tutoring business started or even any business started, because a lot of the things I'm going to share tonight can be based off of any business whatsoever. And I know a lot of people are like, why is everybody trying to do their own thing and do their own business? Because, girl, this was teacher appreciation week, and how many damn mugs did you get today? Yeah. How many Smartie candies did you get? How many staplers did you get? And you're like, "Hey, I like this stuff. I need this stuff." But at the same time, it's time for us to kind of grow into it. We need to progress. We need to grow. We need to be appreciated. So, I'm going to not only share with you how I got started, but basically how I survived. I've been doing this tutoring business for about 3 years. I'm really excited. I'm able to help people not only in the US, but also tutor a couple people in Nairobi, Kenya, and also Cairo, Egypt. And they just completed their things with me. One completed a couple years ago, one just recently, and they're doing extremely well. They're building up their skills, and that was my whole sole purpose. So it's easy for not for us to get started, but you're going to have to learn how to keep things going, just like you did when you're in the classroom. Yeah, you got excited, you got your classroom, you decorated, you did all your little spice and stuff, and you had your fresh scents and you Lysol everything down. And then after a while, you look at your classroom now, you're like, look like a bomb hit this place. You got piles of papers everywhere. Uh, but then you still have hope and appreciation for education. You love teaching kids. That's why you do it. You sure as heck didn't do it for the pay. No, you didn't. So, what I'm going to do is I am going to let me get to my banners over here. So, we're going to look at basically, we already talked about the countdown of everything, but we're going to look at, not so much how I got started, but basically how I'm going to keep going. And I'm going to talk about 3 tips that I do to basically keep myself going and I'm going strong. And it's not so much running around like a chicken with my head cut off and just kind of giving information and just praying that it sticks to somebody. There is a pattern. So, if this is your first time listening to myself, my name is Audrey Codner, and I'm the owner of ACG Math Tutoring. I used to be a classroom teacher for 21 years. I know I do not look that old. Thank you. But I was in there, trust me. And I was one of those teachers that really and truly cared about her students, will do anything and everything, always reaching out, always pushing, because I believe that having a good education can get you far. So, with that being said, if you are watching this live, go ahead in the comments and hit hashtag live. If you're watching the replay, hit hashtag replay because I want to see who's in here so I can reach out, say hi, how's things going, and just really to connect with people. That's my main reason of coming on these lives is just to say hi and just to share a little bit of my wisdom and hopefully we can have discussions and grow in relationships as we continue on with life, right? So let's get started. All right. So, number one, main thing, I kept seeing it over and over on TikTok. I know everybody's addicted to TikTok. So am I. I just remember that last summer, I just kept hearing it over and over and over again. And it just resonated with me each and every single solitary time. So the phrase or the mantra was, I don't chase, I attract. What belongs to me will simply find me. And for me, that hit hard. So the reason why I'm a type A personality, I am all about organization. I'm all about like, let me go after the next thing. What's happening right now? What do I need to make adjustments? Like that was me. Like I was that teacher that when you saw her in the hallway, it was almost like this. Boom, boom, just constantly like running here, running there, running here, running there, going upstairs, going downstairs. Okay, what you need? What you need? That was me. So because when I hear I don't have to chase, like I would always try to in the beginning, try to chase after like who is my ideal client and where do I find them and what do I have to do to get them to like me? And then I realize I don't have to do anything extra. I just have to be me. I'm very organized. I know the content. I can break it down to anybody, regardless of their abilities or disabilities. And I believe that I can definitely get all that stuff done. So, what I mean by attracting, main thing is people got to know that you exist. And it seems like a lot of the tutors that I've been talking to this week is all saying the same exact thing. They're saying that, oh, I want to do tutoring because I want to make them extra money, but I don't want to be on camera. Well, how are you going to do online tutoring? This is all about camera. So you have to practice. You have to get out there. And then on top of it, I love when people say, yeah, I want to start my tutoring business, but I don't want anybody to know that I'm doing it. You can't have that. I'm sorry. And I understand that a lot of people are getting out of their comfort zone. And I think the pandemic really pushed a lot of people that used to be behind the scenes, really forced a lot of people out in front. Either they liked it and they rolled with it, or they didn't like it at all. And they just like, no, I got to stop. So by me creating, practicing, I mean, you can get on Zoom and you can actually practice talking to the camera. You can actually, if you wanted to join or create a group on Facebook to practice going live on Facebook before you officially do it to the public, you can actually go live for yourself. They have that option just so you can get used to being out there. And I know a lot of people just pushing that live button is very, very hard because I know when I first started, I was like, I don't know if I want to push it or not. But you're gonna have to push it. You're gonna have to push publish. You're gonna have to push live. There's gonna be times you're gonna have to push start. And you're gonna have to figure out how do you want this done? Because for years as a teacher, you were told what to do. You were told where you have to go, what classes you were going to teach, how you're going to organize it, what is the guidelines. But now you want to step away from that and create your own atmosphere, create your own energy in the sense. And then also figuring out who you want to tutor. So, with all that, that brings a lot of stress. So, when I say I don't have to chase, it really does bring me down because now I'm like, okay, I just have to present me. And if they like me, they will contact me. And obviously, there's either something I said or something that was in a post, or maybe they saw me on a podcast with someone or an interview, something. But there's something about me that they liked that made them reach out to me. So instead of you chasing, try things, try online, try doing videos, try doing like small snips. You don't have to do a full minute. Try like literally 30 seconds or 15 seconds. Think of what you want to say. Try to organize it, say it, and then move on. Because if they like you and if there's something about you, they will definitely come on in. All right. So that is number one. And if that did resonate with you, you're like, you know what? I always heard that mantra, just put yes in the chat or just like I always say the chat or the comments, but just say yes. Or, you know what, Audrey, I feel you on that one because sometimes my anxiety builds up every time I have to think about what exactly I have to present to someone. Sometimes I don't know what to say or who is my audience that I'm saying it to. So there's times that you just have to really stop and just kind of take a look. Hey, hoops, and just really take a look at what exactly you want to present. So, number one, I don't chase, I attract. Now, number two, we're going to talk about building relationships. So, in order for you to really connect with people, think about the people if you're on Instagram, Facebook, even LinkedIn, think about who's liking your post. Maybe all of a sudden you get someone that you've never heard of. Go and reach out to them. What's wrong with sending them like an audio or even sending them a message back? Say, hey, you know what? Thank you for liking my post. I greatly appreciate it. Because you never know who's on the other end of that post. Like my friend Patrick, one day he was in some kind of conversation, and for some reason, I don't think I heard his side of the story. I kept hearing about what everyone else is saying. So I reached out to him. I was like, hey, I know you don't know me, but I'm kind of curious as to why you were saying X, Y, and Z. And then sat there and he explained to me, and I was like, "Oh, that makes sense." And there was something about pricing because some people, if they tutor, they like to just charge like $15. But because of where they're living, that makes sense because everyone doesn't have the same economy as we do in the United States. So a lot of people thought that he was putting that price out there as a US person, where in fact he was out in Cambodia. It makes sense to charge like 5 to $10, okay? So, sometimes, like, when you hear of someone having those weird things, why not reach out and get the full story? And then next thing you know, he's developing this great educational system in Cambodia that he's trying to make a connection with Cambodian students and US students. So it's almost like a pen pal type thing, but a little bit more. So like there's going to be some visitations, there's going to be activities, and there's going to be like a lot of let's try to build this small blue planet and let's kind of keep it together type of thing. And I really do appreciate like all the people that I talked to. Like one day I reached out to someone, and when I reached out, I didn't know that he was the Olympic runner that went against Usain Bolt. Little shook. I was like, that name sounds familiar. And he was like, no, that's me. And I'm like, hey, how you doing? And I'm like, go peon. But then I was like, yeah, I'm an athlete too. Not at that level, but it was nice to have a nice little connection. Um, But for the most part, I like to always talk to people. So if someone all of a sudden I have a new follower on my page, guess what? I'm going to reach out and say, "Hey, thank you so much for following my page. I greatly appreciate it." And actually take a moment before you send the message, look at their page. It's like, I like your page too. Maybe we'll just sit and have a quick 15, 20-minute chat. That's how I build connections. Because I did that, I was able to connect with a local school and tutor a lot of their students. I was able to connect with someone from a different state. Another tutor trusted me with one of her clients because she wasn't the math part was just not her thing. She did the reading and she noticed her person needed a math person. So she contacted me. Everything is about relationships. And even with your business, you're not by yourself. Everyone keeps saying there's a competition. For me, I don't think of it as a competition because here's my thing. And this may sound conceited, but you're you, I'm me. You can take all my stuff. Go ahead. Go on my Instagram, copy and paste it. Go on my Facebook, copy and paste it. Have fun. But the only thing is the delivery is not going to be the same because you're not me and I'm not you. Yes, we may be tutoring the same concepts, but what the type of flavor we bring in the conversation is going to be different. So when you have a business, you can't be by yourself. You need other people. I'm not saying for you to go out and run and get a VA because, yeah, a lot of people would like to do that. But I wouldn't do that in the very beginning because you need to know what you want the VA to do. So, in order for you to display to the VA what you want them to do, you got to do it yourself at first. And then you have to tell everybody you know what you're doing. If you're doing math tutoring, be proud of it. Don't be shy because this is supposedly your passion. And if you're going to try to hide your passion, that doesn't make any sense. Why spend all this time developing a business if you're going to be afraid of it? Think about it. Okay. Building those relationships. So, if any of these are resonating with you, go ahead, put it in the chat. All right. Yes, Audrey, you were definitely talking to me. Or, yeah, girl, you're completely off. I'm perfectly fine with either way. Either way, I'm good with that. So that was number 2, building relationships. Now, the third one, boom, is I believe in myself and my services. So it's kind of going in line with a person that is afraid to tell anybody what they're doing. I get it. If you know you're going to stay in the classroom, I know for sure you want to leave, but you feel that you can't leave right now. I get it. You're thinking about tutoring part time because you're thinking, oh, it's easy. I'm currently doing the content. Everything's perfectly fine. But let me tell you, the business side of tutoring, you're going to need someone to guide you through it. Because trust me, I have went on highs, I went on lows, and I built myself right out of the gutter. But then having someone to kind of talk to, even though I know where I want to go with my business, it's always nice to have someone that is going to be open enough to hear and to actually you want to share your vision. And I know a lot of people don't want to share anything because they're so afraid that someone's going to steal your stuff and then all of a sudden like, "Oh, I'm not going to have any clients." How many people are on this planet? Billions. You can't even tutor 1% or a third of a percent. You can't. You won't be able to. And there's always a kid being born, especially during the pandemic. A lot of my students, I don't know what was going on. I need for y'all to read a book. Okay. Everybody's popping out kids all of a sudden. But it just seems like when it comes to your business, you shouldn't be afraid to talk about it. That's how I got my first client. I went on a Facebook Live. That was my very first Facebook Live ever. And I say, okay, guys, I just want to let you know that this is a new venture that I'm going to do. So if you need a tutor, hit me up. 2 hours later, I got a call from a friend of mine. She's like, how did you know my son needed help? I didn't. Let's get started. And then we got started. But if you don't believe in any business, regardless if it's tutoring, if it's like selling soap, if it's starting a farm and you want to go to the farmer's market, whatever you want to do, but if you don't get into anything else, you have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in your skills because there's going to be times that you're going to be like, am I really good? And you should be answering the question, yes, you are good. Because if you weren't good, trust me, the school that you're currently working at would have kicked you out a long time ago. Trust me, they can figure it out. There's always loopholes. All right. So believing in yourself. So let's see. Hey, Robert is here in the chat. How are you? And Officer Perry. I'm still going to call you Officer Perry. Um, and you're in the chat as well. Thank you so much for guys for showing up. But those are the 3 that I always kind of address. But there's a question that I want to put out there for you guys. And this is something that I think we really all should talk about, especially if you're thinking about jumping into any kind of business. Yes, there's tons of math tutors out there. Tons. There's tons. It doesn't even matter. There's elementary, there's middle, there's high school, there's advanced, there's college, there's intermediate algebra, anything. But you also need to ask yourself, what makes you unique? Why should anyone pick you as a tutor? Go ahead. That's a question that I really want you to sit and think about. And if you want to put it in the chat, you can put it in the chat. Needs to get in touch with you. Yes, definitely. You know where to get me. Catch me up on my Facebook group. Definitely have her call me. Because especially this time of year for secondary, a lot of people are either the teachers are slowing down or people are getting ready for their finals. So this is usually the time that I'm like, all right, I know I'm about to get crazy busy. So definitely have me hit her up like as soon as possible. All right. But back to everything. Oh, Maggie's here. Hey, Max. One of my former students. Love her. But when you're building any kind of business, you have to figure out your uniqueness, like what makes you unique? What makes someone want to contact you? So for me, I'm more so a people person. Like I understand that people learn differently. Not everyone is exactly the same. And I noticed that there's a lot of programs, there's a lot of pre-recorded videos. Some people are having you do a lot of reading. Some people have you like just try to figure it out. Sometimes they have like Q&As and there's times that you can't really get in there. Or if you have a question, but you don't want to be that person that takes up like more than 10 minutes. So you feel like, all right, let me just ask a menial question instead of asking the true question that you want to ask specifically for your business. So when it comes down to it, I understand that everyone learns differently. And I was always one of those teachers that I had a mixture of students. I had some advanced, some honors kids. I also had some special ed kids. I had some kids that had high difficulties of just understanding and remembering. And I had some kids that literally they can have their eyes completely shut and they'll listen to you and they understand every single solitary thing that you do. So with everyone have different learning styles, different personality traits, and I've talked about this a couple weeks ago and it just seems like when you look at some of these programs, it's all set, but no one really actually takes the moment to hear from you personally. What is your vision for your business? Like, yes, we all know, okay, I want to have so many students that I get charge them so much money so I can make this much money a year. The money is going to come. And I know a lot of people are like, yeah, it better come the same day. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But overall, why are you doing this business? It can't just be about the money because if it is, your business is not going to last very long. Because just like everything else in life, there's a lot of highs and a lot of lows. You're in the valley and you got to push just to get up to the summit. And when you're at the summit, you're like, woo, it looks good here. And then all of a sudden, someone push you from behind you, going right back down again. But then you got to remember that it's a ride. It's a ride, it's a venture. So with that having in our minds, you really have to understand like what is it that's going to bring a person to you. And another thing, especially from my older students, I shall say my seasoned students, the ones that have been doing a job forever. And then all of a sudden they're told that, oh, we just found out that you don't have a high school diploma. But I've been doing this job for like 20 years. Yeah, but you have to have at least a high school diploma, or better yet, you need to have an associate's degree in order to do the job that you've been doing for the last 20 years. So when that jumps at you, you have an adult that's being pushed in a community college setting. They haven't been in the classroom for eons. Now they're learning things that they was learned when they were like a zygote. They haven't they haven't seen it in forever, and now all of a sudden they're going for help, and I love when people say, "Well, I go to free tutoring." How's that working out for you? Because if it was working out fine, we wouldn't be talking, right? So, when it has that whole situation, like, what is it? Maybe people like my personality. Maybe they, especially my seasoned students, they like the fact that I don't make them feel dumb. Because I believe everybody can learn. Anybody can learn. I can break down any concept to the area that you understand it. I try to take a little bit of your personality, a little bit of your interest to make associations so you can like, oh, so this is how I should think of it. Yes. So because I do that, a lot of people they like this. They really do. They like how I kind of break things down. They like how I make them feel empowered. So that's why like my slogan for ACG math tutoring is basically build confidence and making connections. I want you to feel confident in what you're doing because when it comes to math, a lot of people are not really interested in it. A lot of people are just like, it's math. I'm intimidated. But I'm a type of person, I'm like, look, let's try like a quick 15 minutes. You show me what we're doing and I break it down. I don't start my sessions with an online assessment. Here's the thing. Are you ready? Kids don't like assessments. So why are you starting your relationship with an assessment? You're already putting yourself in a situation. Take what they're currently doing. Take their homework assignments. If their teachers allow them to bring the test home to make corrections, take to look at that test. Take a look at that quiz and help them to figure out to break down what they keep having a misconception about. And it's always dealing with integers, positive and negative numbers. All right. So it's always dealing with things like that. But by you being that connection, it just takes them to another level. All right. So that's how I'm unique. Go ahead and share and tell me how are you unique? What is it about your tutoring business or what is it about your business that sets you off, that sets you apart from everyone else? Okay. So you kind of have to think about that. If anything, you can find me later and hit me up in the DMs. All right. So, last thing I know I had a couple of things, but I want to kind of wrap up because I only come on here for a half an hour. That's a bit much for me. So, for those that don't know, let me kind of switch over on my other lives. Okay, I do have a Facebook. Let me show you that. I do have a Facebook group. If you are a math teacher or a math tutor and you just want to have like-minded people, we'll be able to break concepts down, or even if you have like a question, even something like, Audrey, like, how exactly do you get your students? And I'm like, basically, let me tell you, blah, blah, blah. If you ever want to get one of those things that Ask Audrey, go ahead and just sign up for my Facebook group. It's called From the Classroom to Online Tutor. It's a virtual community for those secondary math teachers that just need that assistance. So I know there's always tons of things for elementary age kids. There's always tons of things for reading and ELA, but I wanted to design something just for math teachers. You know, if you want to come in there like, I don't understand what's going on, or really thinking about transitioning, but I don't know how to get from point A to point B, you can go ahead and sign up for my Facebook group. But I also have something exciting to share. So, my friend, Allison, who's amazeballs, she is actually let me take this off. She is actually starting a virtual summit for math teachers, and it's called the Math Teacher Side Hustle. So if you are a math teacher, or if you know somebody that is a math teacher that's thinking about, like, you know what, I need something else. Like, all right, I want to teach, but I kind of want to jump into something else. You can go to this free FREE, okay, free summit, and it's happening May the 19th through the 21st. So it's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So what happens during these summits? There's going to be like pre-recordings, there's going to be interviews. Some of the things which I'm going to read, I'm going to butcher last names, so I'm just going to tell you some of the main concepts that's going to be presented. So, like, if you're interested in being an educational consultant, hiring or, how to get hired as one, maybe you're thinking about selling books to schools and then get paid to be a guest author, or even like selling on TPT. Like, there's people that have that. Also, how to create a teacher membership. almost similar to what I'm doing with my Facebook, but then we're someone that if you wanted to be a paid type of scenario. Or even if you want to do your tutoring, how to grow like group classes versus my online classes, one to ones with like secondary and also adults. So, and also if you're thinking about doing an educational podcast or how to get some social media affiliates just to get a little extra cash in your pockets, why not learn how to do something during the summer that can help you during the school year? Get those information, get it started. So this is a free summit. Again, if you want to join, go to the link in my bio. It's under my Solo 2 account. It'll be nice and bright and it's right in the beginning. And it is the Math Teacher Side Hustle Summit or virtual summit. So if you click on the link, go ahead and register and we'll get you situated from there on in. Okay. So again, it's in my link under my Solo 2 account. You click on the link, you're actually going to see it. Scroll down a little bit, and you'll actually see it. Click on that and go ahead and register. So, with that being said, I also like to help other teachers out and other tutors out. I'm a type of person that if there's someone that comes to me and they need help with elementary math, that's not me. If I mean, for me, calculus, I know I've gone to Robert many a times. I'm like, hey, Robert, how you doing? I have a kid for you. Yeah, this is the person for you. And I've always done that. So, what I'm also doing starting this week, I have two young ladies that I am actually helping them with their podcasts. So, tomorrow it's going to be with Veronica Reed, and she is a tutor for Reach Scholars Tutoring LLC. So, we're going to be live on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, I think also in LinkedIn to be sure. And it's called Two Tutors Talking. Try to say that 5 times fast, right? And we're just actually gonna talk about what are the benefits and what are the look fors for, finding the best tutor for you. And if you know somebody that's like, they're kinda on the fence, this will be a really great place to go and to talk, and that's gonna be almost every Wednesday, at 11 o'clock, so Eastern Standard Time. So take a look out. Again, I'm gonna probably put the replays on my YouTube channel, and also I'm gonna put the replays in my group. Another person that I have is I got Miss Lindsay, and she is making a complete turnaround. She basically wanted to say that tutoring basically saved her life and changed her. So that's the topic of us, and that's going to be Thursday at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So, how tutoring changed me. So, we're going to talk about our early stages, like where did we come from, the different types of background, but how did one thing for her it's business, for me it's math, and how did that tutoring life just kind of helped us to stay afloat and to keep our consciousness going as well. All right, so that's going to be Tuesday, and that's going to be live on TikTok at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Thursday. So that was exhausting. All right. 3 minutes over, but that's okay. So, if anything, you enjoyed your time, if you ever want to reach out, please do not hesitate. I usually do all of my meetings and my messages in the mornings because I definitely tutor in the late afternoons, evening hours. But if you ever still need a tutor, or if you know your school is going to give you after not after school, if they're going to give you like a summer packet, let's get that summer packet done early so you can enjoy the summer. Because guess what? Even if we do the summer packet in August, you're not going to remember half the stuff anyway. Because you're not really in the flow. So if you thinking about like, hey, Audrey, can you still like tutor me or like give me something to do over the summer? Yes, that's coming soon. All right. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much, Robert. Thank you so much, Sylvia. Thank you. Uh, thank you, Max. And I think like Coach came in for a little bit. Um, so if there is anything, please do not hesitate to contact me and I will be talking to you soon. And if you are a tutor, if you know someone that's a tutor, hey, keep your head up, keep riding high, and especially those teachers, because we all know that last month is pretty pretty intense, but you're going to make it through because you are going to be someone's saving grace and you have no idea how much of an impact you have in someone's life until they're gone. All right. So take care, guys. Peace.